Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens look to continue their strong momentum and start to the season as they fly into Pittsburgh to play Kenny Pickett potentially and the Pittsburgh Steelers here. This is all these AFC North matches. I mean, I'm just looking at it statistically and kind of where each team plays. Like Pittsburgh Steelers defense overall hasn't been that great statistically, passing wise, but also at the same time, Baltimore Ravens, they don't really pass the ball that much. And so they're definitely more of a run team. And then at the same time, Baltimore has a top 5 defense in the league, and Pittsburgh's offense is shaky at best. So that just leads to me this is just going to be a grinded out type game. Whoever wins in the trenches is going to be the one who dominates the game. And so that's just how I kind of quickly see it. But I want to throw it over to you for deeper analysis. Who do you think is going to who has the advantage coming into this week's game? And what does each team have to do to win?
So for me, I want to give a little pushback on your intro there. I actually think the Ravens have thrown the ball a good bit so far this year because they Todd Monken has verbally stated that he wants them to throw the ball more. So for me, that like they have been throwing the ball more. I do think the Ravens, they have the momentum coming in here. Outside of a couple big plays, I think the Steelers have only had 1 or 2 solid drives all year. What's the offensive coordinator's name?
Matt Canada.
That's right. And so for me,
I got his name wrong. I don't think any Steelers fans would care. So I know it's Canada.
I wanted I thought it was knew it was like a country, but I forgot there was Matt Canada. Might be calling plays for Canadian football. I think pretty soon. So
good one.
For me, the Ravens, they have the momentum going in. After getting embarrassed by the Texans, the Steelers, I think they have a lot of figuring out to do. And they got pretty significantly injured. Pat Freiermuth is going to miss at least 2 to 3 weeks with a torn hamstring. And then also Kenny Pickett has that bone bruise. Marvin Leal has a concussion, and he's in concussion protocol. So that for me, it's like the Ravens have injuries, but I don't think anything of that magnitude.
Well, and one of the things also too is I feel like a lot of these Ravens games outside of the Colts game, which frankly they should have won. There's no reason why the Ravens shouldn't be undefeated right now with that Colts game. Excuse me here, but they've just been solid. I feel across the board. I would say passing, just to rebuttal, like overall passing yards wise, they rank looks like 25th or 26th in the league. Just overall passing yards per game.
I said they've thrown it a lot. I haven't said they've been effective.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. But then when it comes to running the ball, though, they're one of the top in the league with, it looks like, 4th in rushing yards per game. A lot of that's Lamar Jackson. Gus Edwards has played really well. It picked up the slack. Justice Hill also. I just think they've just done nothing flashy. They've just been consistent. I think they've been one of the more consistent teams in the league that they haven't played a primetime game. You know, we're seeing the Eagles and 49ers at all these game of the week. So we get to see how consistent they are. But watching them in a multi-view, watch their games, and they just look like they always just get up early, and then they just maintain that lead. Yeah. And then they kind of just run away with the game. I think Lamar Jackson's had a good start to the season so far. I really like John Harbaugh as a head coach. His defense, top 5 in the league. I don't see how Kenny Pickett, if he does play, manufactures any of these drives. The Steelers' offensive line, I think, is struggling, has been struggling. And also let alone the fact as well that they're going to be down Deontay Johnson and also Pat Freiermuth as well. George Pickens, you can see the potential there, but it looks like he's still growing into it. And then with him being the number 1 guy, I don't think he's that number 1 guy just yet. So all that to me just pointed to victory here. It's who knows? The AFC North is weird. There's a lot of crazy things that can happen, especially then too. Who knows if T.J. Watt can take over the game defensively? We've seen that happen before. But I'm leaning towards Baltimore on this one. I still don't have much faith in the offense for the Steelers in general, let alone the fact that all the injuries that seem to be going around.
Yeah, that for me, I'm leaning with the Ravens as well. I just think they're going to be the more consistent team. Like I said, the Steelers, outside of a couple big plays, really haven't been able to manufacture consistent offense except for a few drives here and there. So that to me, I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think that they win this game in a very boring fashion. I'm going to say 23-13. So
it's been a normal amount. Like, to be honest, I haven't finished watching too many of the Ravens game except for the Colts game because
where I watched none of the game until the end.
Well, because they were up a majority of the time. The Colts were able to come back, but a lot of the other ones, the Texans, they just kind of in week one dominated the Bengals in week two, and then Bengals picked up their offense a little bit. And then last week they Dorian Thompson-Robinson couldn't do anything against that Ravens defense, and the Browns couldn't do anything as well, as a whole. So they've just had a good, consistent defense, good, consistent offense, and I just don't see how the Steelers are going to walk away with a win this week.
No, yeah, I don't see it either. I see the Ravens pulling this one out. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this AFC North matchup. Is it going to be the Baltimore Ravens? Is it going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers? And other than that, we will see you guys next time.